Welcome along to episode 866 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, Ged Graham let us know about Seven Drunken Nights, the story of the Dubliners ahead of his appearance at the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton. Matt Miller has their show Fixing at the Arena in Wolverhampton. We'll find out all about that. We'll be having a bit of a natter with Alex McAleer, all about his world of being a mind reader and his show at the Stafford Gatehouse coming up in March. Also on the way, Linda Papadopoulos let us know how compliments can be good for us, and Fiona Winning tells us all about being resident director for Six the Musical, which is currently on tour and at the Grand Theatre.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Seven Drunken Nights, the story of the Dubliners, is at the Grand Theatre in Wolverhampton on the 8th of March. Ged Graham is here to tell us more about the show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good. How are you?
All good. Now, it's been a while since we last had a catch up, and it's been a couple of years since we've seen everything that we want to see from this show in our area. So it's great to be back in the Midlands, I'm going to guess.
Oh, it is. I mean, especially in Wolverhampton, it's such a lovely, lovely old theatre. I love playing there. It's great fun.
A story that is well worth telling every time.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's if you're into Irish music, Irish culture, or just generally having a great night out, then there's nothing better than coming to see Seven Drunken Nights.
So tell us a bit about how telling the story began to begin with.
Yeah, well, way back in 2012, the Dubliners decided to call it a day as a band and they retired the name. And it was about that time I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to put together a show that would tell the story of the Dubliners and more about the Dubliners' music than the individuals themselves? Because the music just can't be lost. I don't believe. I just think it just kind of just fizzle away. And there was no one else doing that style of music at the time. So yeah, I just set about writing a show that was a theatrical based show that would bring to life the music of the Dubliners. And by 2017, I managed to get into a type of shape that I could put in front of an audience. And here we are now, 10 years, would you believe, into 2026, 10 years of touring. So yeah, it's a remarkable journey we've had.
But the songs just draw the audience in. Whiskey in the Jar, The Irish Rover, all of those songs, which are toe tappers on their own, when they're performed live on stage, just really bring the auditorium to life.
They certainly do. I mean, they're great songs, in themselves, and they've been around for some of them over 100 years, and they're dragged out usually around about St. Patrick's Day, and near enough every bar or pub you go into around that time, you'll hear the Wild Rover and Whiskey in the Jar and all those kind of songs. But what we wanted to do was to put them in context of when they were created by the Dubliners and that passion that was brought to the stage back in the 60s and the early 70s by, in my opinion, the greatest folk band of all time. So, yeah, we set about putting a cast together and just trying to bring that music to life every night. And we're certainly very successful in doing that because I think the great thing about this style of music is it captures people's emotions. They remember singing them with their parents, their grandparents, even their great grandparents. They seem to have a real personal connection to the music, and we try to make it an authentic experience for everyone. And do you know what? We have just a great time doing it.
It sounds absolutely brilliant fun. And the fact you're looking back over 50 years of the Dubliners experience, 10 years of your own experience honing this even further on stage, and then the cast, and obviously the cast evolves over time, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, I'm the only original one from the original cast from 10 years ago, but it's all about bringing in new people and almost new takes on the music. And we've got a fantastic cast we've been working with now the last 18 months, and that's the cast that's going to bring it to the UK and on the 2026 tour.
Actor musicians, storytelling, basically a party night.
Do you know what? It's hardly hard work, is it? You get to come out every night on stage, tell stories, have some great crack, sing some songs, and just have it's a great time doing it. But the songs are very, very special to all of us who perform them on stage. It's not taken lightly. I've been in shows where I've learned a script and learned my lines and done the show. But this is very different. These are the songs that I was brought up with. I can remember, my mum and dad singing them around the house when I was a kid, my grandparents singing them, and it's just something that's multi-generational. So it's more of a labor of love for me than just going out and doing a show.
Something which you're able to bring to life. I mean, you're pretty much a Dubliner now, but I reckon that it's you're there. You're nearly one of them, aren't you?
Well, I was born in Dublin, and we came as a family to Manchester when I was 10 years old. So, I've always had a sort of a Dublin upbringing. So it does, it's not surprising that sort of the songs that I'm singing are ingrained inside of me because I've heard them from the original artists like the Dubliners, but I also heard my dad singing them, my uncles, my aunties singing the music. So it's always been there as almost a backdrop to my to my youth.
Well, the 10th anniversary tour of Seven Drunken Nights, a story of the Dubliners' rise at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre on the 8th of March. 01902 429212 is the box office number. grandtheatre.co.uk is where you find your tickets online. And you're all over the socials as well, aren't you, Jed?
We are, yeah, and this new social, well, it's not new now, but we seem to be all over social media at the moment. But yeah, it's an exciting tour, 10th anniversary. We got 64 dates in the UK. We're off to Scandinavia in a few weeks' time, just before we hit the UK, and then we're off to Australia for 9 weeks following that. So we've got a full year of celebrating the music of the Dubliners ahead of us.
Oh, it is the world tour then. Make sure you catch it in Wolverhampton on the 8th of March. Ged Graham, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
Matt Miller is out on the road, arriving at Wolverhampton's Arena Theatre on the 6th of February, then heading over to the Mac in Brum on the 7th. They join me now to tell me all about fixing. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Thanks for having us on.
Well, good here. So, what are you up to with this one? Because the show itself, you won't be appearing quite as I see you now, I take it.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So I'll be appearing in a couple of different ways. So it's a show that is sort of a half drag show, if you like. So it's
The
a
left or
show
the right hand
about.
side?
Uh, oh, good question. I can answer that one actually. Left is the drag side.
Okay.
I'm sort of. Is it? No, right. Your left, my right. We've got two different sort of halves of the stage for it. Yeah, so it's kind of a show about my dad and my relationship with my dad, kind of growing up and now. So my dad had a classic car when I was about 8, just after he'd broken up with my mum. And it's sort of when I was closest to my dad. So I wanted to make a show kind of about that time. So the show is kind of about fixing cars. So there's me as like my 8-year-old self and me as myself now. But then, yeah, we've also got a drag character called Natalie Spanner. So this is her in her dormant form.
Okay, this is at
And sh
rest.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And when she's not at rest, she's teaching the audience a class in car maintenance. But she's also a bit of a self-help guru. So she calls it a class in holistic car care, going on a journey together.
I like that
Um,
idea. Now, you're playing the Wolverhampton Arena, which is a stone's throw from where your Sunbeam Talbot Mark II that your dad had was built.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the right part of the world for it. Absolutely.
Is this car still around? Is it part of the family still?
No, it's not. So we do have as part of the set, we've got some bits from an actual Sunbeam Talbot Mark II in a sort of racing green rather than black. So we've got a bonnet and a car door, which we found from, it turns out the guy who used to do repairs on my dad's car back in the day. Um, but no, my dad let that car go about 20 years ago, I think, and I think someone just wanted it for parts. So I think sadly the actual car is no more, but we've got some remnants of a one of the same model.
But it's story on stage as part of your intriguing show here. Because this is a solo show, but it's not a solo show, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So as I say, it's me as my 8-year-old self, and then it's Natalie. So Natalie opens the show with her class, and then that gets sort of interrupted by my childhood memories and my reflection on my relationship with my dad now. So it's kind of like sort of a poignant show in points, but Natalie makes it a lot of fun as well. There's lots of audience interaction. Sorry, I brought lots of visual aids along because I knew we were doing video. She's got these fabulous shoes to wear as well.
And they don't look that comfortable. Can you get? Have you got the calves for those?
they're not too bad, you know. So like because it is quite high,
It's a high
but it's
yellow, I
yeah.
mean, boat of a shoe. I mean, that very much could have appeared in a Beatles song back in the day. It looks like a yellow
Yeah,
submarine.
it's that right sort of shade of banana yellow, isn't it? We did have in when we were sort of rehearsing, we had some other ones which I've got back there, which are actually a bit lower, but sort of the rake is steeper, so they really did sort of throw you forwards. But they're not, yeah, they're not too bad. They're sort of perfect because they're chunky, but they're slip-ons as well. So obviously we're coming in and out of drag during the show a lot. So we've got a kind of drag look that's quite a light makeup look. So with the wig. Oh, and she's got this fabulous boiler suit I'll show you as well. So she's got a boiler suit with big cross spanners on the back. And when all the gear's on, it kind of reads as drag. But then we sort of can take it all off and it sort of reads as 8-year-old boy as well. So yeah.
It's appropriately fresh-faced in both roles, I am sure. And
Yeah,
how
that's
obviously
it. I've got less stubble.
but the story itself is a bit autobiographical. Is it?
Mm.
Is there more to it? How much of you do we get to explore on stage? Because I mean, do you enjoy the drag role as part of who you see yourself as, or is it just part of the show?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely very autobiographical. The drag's a bit of a new thing. I mean, the previous show we made, me and me co-creator Peda, was about cross-dressing and non-binary identity. So that had lots of wearing dresses, but it was a bit more sort of androgynous boy in a dress, rather than sort of like full drag, if you like. I don't really know where the impulse to do the drag thing came from. Like every show we make, we try a new thing. So the last show we did a bit of stage magic, and this one, yeah, it turned out to be drag. But yeah, Natalie's become a bit of a sort of self-help guru for me as well. Like we worked, it was interesting. We worked in development with a psychologist, and he introduced us to this idea of internal life givers, so like a version of yourself which enables you to do something. So Natalie becomes like a version of self that enables us to kind of work on my relationship with my dad. But we kind of want it to be that for the audience as well. Like we've had lots of people after the show sort of saying, "Oh, I want to give my dad a ring now." And she's interested in taking care of people and sort of facilitating that fixing role, whether it's cars or relationships. She's a lot of fun as well. Natalie was at, yeah, it's great fun to find and play with.
But do you find yourself talking to her when you're not on stage?
Yeah, so I mean, in a previous version of the show that we did last year, there was actually a section at the end where I literally talked to Natalie on stage, and we had some voiceover playing back. So there is that literal conversation, which we've shifted a bit now, so it's not there quite as directly. But yeah, definitely, like it certainly helped in my own life. Like during the course of this show, my relationship with my dad has sort of fluctuated. I think it's in a fairly good spot at the minute, and that's I think definitely partly through the process of making the show. So yeah, Natalie is there
But
in me.
has he met Natalie, and then how do they get on?
Has he met Natalie directly? I'm not sure. I'm not. Yeah, I don't think he has. I mean, he's definitely like um seen me in girls' clothes. He's definitely seen that side of us. But Natalie feels like another version again from that. Yeah, I don't know that he has actually. That would be quite an interesting meeting.
Maybe yeah, you should next to take Natalie to tea with your dad and see
Yeah,
how that goes.
yeah, yeah.
But check
That'd
with
be
her first to
nice.
see how she feels about that.
Of course, I'm sure she'd be up for it. Natalie's pretty up for anything, especially if she can be there to help. She's vivacious. Yeah,
And
she's a
does that
great character.
has she got her own fan club as well? Then now is it turning into an entity in its own right?
Um, I don't. Maybe not so much just yet. Maybe after the tour, that'll happen. I mean, I think she's definitely if you're going to um sort of fall in love a bit with any of the characters in the show, it's Natalie. She's the
So
one
have
bringing the
you
fun.
fallen in love with Natalie as well?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It's dead interesting. Like you know, when sort of novelists talk about writing characters that start to create their own lives and narratives and run away from where you want them to go, which I've always thought must be like such a magical feeling. Like Natalie has been that a bit. That's the closest I've come to it. Like when we were developing her, because she's a drag queen, so we thought that she'd be really dirty and filthy, and she sort of isn't that. So the innuendos are still there, but it's a bit of a sort of there's a bit of innocence there and a bit of a wink. Like, does she really know what she's saying? The innuendos are just sort of left hanging in the air. So, and that kind of came as a surprise. It was a bit felt sort of learning to walk again, finding Natalie. She definitely sort of found her own way out.
And yeah, is it then a part of who you are the rest of the time that appreciates her more? Because, say, as far as gender identity goes, that is something which I think, based on what I know, is a little fluid for you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
for sure.
but equally, it's the clothes don't make the person. The clothes are a society-led stereotype
Yeah, yeah.
towards your ability to show who you feel you are at the time. So it's an interesting crossover.
Yeah, and I think yeah, it is a really interesting question. I think there probably has been more of like knitting of the different sides of myself since I've been exploring Natalie. Like there is, yeah, she definitely has an influence on me sort of internal personality as well. Like obviously she comes out more when you've got the wig and the clothes and all the rest of it. I think
Or when
that
you've had
that sort
a
of
few
does have an
alcoholic
in.
drinks.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, yeah. I think my partner would attest to that. That Natalie comes out a bit after a few drinks. Yeah.
How does she sound compared to you?
She's just a bit of a higher register. She's probably a little bit more Geordie than me, and she's just ever so keen to help because you're so lovely, aren't you? She's just a little bit in there like that. Lots of head wobbles.
So it's going to be fun. That's what we know. It's a show with a serious side too, but it's
Yeah.
about enjoying exploring the differences between how Natalie sees you and how you saw yourself at the age of 8.
Yeah, and that for the audience as well. Like we always want to make it like universal, so it starts autobiographical, but hopefully becomes like a common experience. And it turns out like sort of these sort of issues with dad relationships is quite a common experience. So yeah, like you might genuinely learn a bit about how to fix up your car. It might help with your relationships as well. And there's interaction opportunities too. So I mean, it's sort of all consensual, but if you're up for it, there's points to get up and play with dipsticks and all the rest of it with Natalie as well. So
Okay, more
bit of
innuendo to
hands-on
be had there.
experience. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one. As we've said, it is this February at the Wolverhampton Arena Theatre. The 6th, it is a Friday night. 01902 wlv.ac.uk to grab your tickets there. Or you can nip along to the Midlands Arts Centre. That's the MAC. So macbirmingham.co.uk. Just look for Matt Miller Fixing on there. That's generally what you're looking for. And maybe wish you every success, particularly the amount of times you'll be taking on and off those yellow high-heeled sort of platform shoes.
Yeah, lots of yoga to keep your calves in check. Yeah.
There you go. Where can we find you on the socials as well, just so people can prepare themselves for this?
Yeah, of course, I've got a Facebook page which is at Miller Theatre, and the Instagram is at Matty Lewis Miller. You can find us there, or if yeah, search for Matt Miller on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find us there, and then my website is mattmillertheatre.com, and you can find all the spring tour listings there as well.
Well, have a brilliant time with it. Enjoy your time on the road and enjoy the time that you are Natalie and when you get to be yourself, looking up to yourself from a younger age.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
On Thursday, the 26th of March, Alex McAleer, mind reader, is at the Stafford Gatehouse. He's with me now to tell me what we can expect in his amazing show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
All good here. So, what's going on? Because this is something a little different on stage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little different. It's sort of part comedy show, part interactive show, part magic and mentalism show, part social experiment, all sorts of things. But it's good fun time. The main thing I want to let people know is it's not a psychic show. It's nothing supernatural. I'm not going to be talking to the dead or reading palms or anything like that. But I am going to be reading minds.
And during this time, people, if they choose not to participate, they can politely refuse.
Of
You're not
course.
going to read anybody like an open book if they don't want you to.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'd like people to think, I could just know anything about them, but it doesn't really work like that. You are quite safe. I don't automatically know your PIN numbers or your deepest, darkest secrets. So, I'm always very polite. I won't reveal anything that would be embarrassing, unless it's really funny, obviously.
Behave. But no, it's one of those shows I say you probably do want to be part of. You'd be disappointed if you don't, if someone, you don't go to someone. They're probably going to want to be in the thick of it, and enjoying the psychological, so almost games here. But it's a chance to explore your mind or those of other people, and I think we understand ourselves a little bit better after something like this.
Yes, absolutely. And it is absolutely one of those things that sometimes you can overhear people. I see people after the show, and if they're not involved, they were too shy to put their hand up during the show. They really wished they had got involved in the show. And yeah, you come away I think people come away just feeling like, we're all the same. We all share the same thoughts. We all have the same sort of fears and wonders. And and what's wonderful about the show is everyone experiences the thing at the same time. They all leave the show with a shared experience, and that's what I'm all about, really.
And when it comes to things like mentalism and understandings, we probably know the mentalist on telly, which is quite clearly scripted. Your show isn't scripted. You can't do that. You don't know the audience you're going to get until they arrive.
Absolutely, yeah. If you've ever watched this stuff on one of the Got Talent shows or a TV show and you think, it's all just a setup, they're all actors, they're all in on it, then if you come to the show, you'll know that's absolutely not the case. And I go at great lengths to make sure that people know that, people are chosen at random by throwing something out in the audience. People put their names in a hat and they get plucked out at random. So if you want to prove that you think it's all set up, then do come along to the show, and see for yourself.
It's almost like a magic show, and I have been involved in a magic show in the past, whereby somebody did a trick which presented a word on a piece of paper. The person who did the trick was someone I know very well. They hadn't selected me to be a stooge in this. I was just genuinely amazed on stage, and I assume this is how people are going to feel when they've been part of the Alex McAleer experience.
Yes, absolutely. I can tell sometimes people are on stage and they're expecting to receive like a little whisper in their ear about how to do it, or see a piece of card that says, "Oh, be a sport and just play along." And when they leave the stage, they're like, "I have no idea how that happened. How did you know I was thinking of my grandfather Jeff or something like that?" Whatever it might be.
So, but when it comes to, what is your favourite sort of experience to share with someone? Because it is about the experience, isn't it? It's more than it's not magic trickery or anything like that. It is about a shared human bond.
Yes, absolutely. There's a few favorite moments in the show. I mean, at the start of the show, I sort of get on with it very quickly. Two people come up on stage and I read their minds as quickly and directly as possible. But in the second half of the show, sort of a random member of the audience reads someone else's mind and they're not sure how they did it. It's not a setup or anything like that. And when they leave the room, and I know that people do chat to them afterwards going like, "Are you in on it?" They go, "No, absolutely no idea how that happened." They don't really know what's happened either. And that's one of my favorite moments, because you can tell from on stage, they're just like, what's happening? And how am I doing this? How is he doing this? How are we doing this?
But how did you get into this?
Oh, well, when I was younger, I did have, I had a Paul Daniels magic set, like most people, I think they did. But I never really got into magic. I got really into mentalism and psychology and memory tricks, mnemonics to help you memorize stuff, lists or exams, help you with that. I got really into memory tricks. And at the back of the book that I was bought about this, it recommended other books. And some of those books were mentalism books. And mentalism is like a branch of magic. It's magic all to do with the mind, psychological tricks, reading people, predicting things. And that is absolutely what I got into. And around the same sort of time, so the early 2000s, there was a man on television called Darren Brown who was doing exactly that sort of thing. And I went, "Wow, you can make a job out of this and you can be on telly." And then I was absolutely hooked. And I started teaching myself some simple tricks, and it just sort of grew and grew from there until it became a career.
And how does this work with your friends and family though? Because it must be interesting then realizing that you can pick up on things which they may not necessarily want you to. I mean, birthdays, you probably know what you're going to get because you can tell the look on someone's face, as well as
Yeah.
feeling around the present.
It has ruined Christmas and birthdays, but I just keep it to myself. You just keep it to yourself. But yeah, when people meet me for the first time, friends of friends or meeting new people, and they find out what I do, they do tend to get sort of nervous or very inquisitive. They're either like, "Are you doing it right now?" Or or they're like, "So how did you do this? How can I learn to do this? Would this help me in my sales job?" And I sort of have to say, not really. It's all sort of for entertainment purposes. But people do get anxious and nervous. Like if I'm getting a haircut or I'm in the back of a taxi or something, I do tend to just lie. When they say, "What are you doing for a living?" I just make up something.
Yeah, you're an
I'm a
estate
graphic
agent.
designer.
Yeah, make it
Yeah,
easy.
exactly. Yeah. Something with no further questions.
So the show itself, as you say, it's very much a show of two halves. You'll work your way through a number of different impressive ways of working with people psychologically and the mentalism side of things. And going into the interval, I should think. Do you give them homework on something to be thinking about whilst they're off getting the drinks at the bar?
I do, absolutely, I do. I tell them in the intermission, or in the interval rather, to think of a fact about themselves, not necessarily a secret, but a fact about themselves that I definitely couldn't find out if I went online. I don't want people thinking I'm just stalking everyone on Facebook or even MySpace that they've forgotten about. A really interesting fact about themselves that I couldn't possibly know, and then the challenge in the second half is for me to try and work out what that is for some members of the audience.
An intriguing world you'll be entering into. It is Thursday, the 26th of March, gatehousetheatre.co.uk. 01785 619080 is how you get your tickets. And it's one of those shows where you choose where you want to sit in the audience depending on your level of interactivity as well, isn't it? So
Yes, my
I
show
know
very much
you.
fills up from the back of the room to the
You've
front.
got quite big sales on the back row already, so
Yes.
that's something you must see. It must be really weird. You know, there's like 1,000 people there, but the first 4 rows are empty.
Absolutely. Or you see someone's bought right at the front, you go, "Oh, they're very keen." Possibly too keen.
Yeah, you have sold a good chunk of the front row as well, so there are people who are very much up for this. Where can we also find out what you're up to online, so we can get a flavour of your work before they arrive?
Absolutely. You can find my website, which is alexthemindreader.com, and I'm fairly active on Instagram, which is alexthemindreader. That's where you'll find me.
Well, Alex, thank you for joining us. Have a great time on tour. You'll stop off at the Stafford Gatehouse, is the closest one to our city of Wolverhampton. So it'd be great to nip along and see what you get up to. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Now, nearly half of people avoid giving compliments altogether because they have a fear of being misinterpreted as being flirtatious or inappropriate. Somebody whom I enjoy talking to regularly, and that isn't flirting, it is purely because she's an absolute expert in the world of psychology, is psychologist, author, and broadcaster Linda Papadopoulos, who's with me now. How you doing?
Good, Jason. How are you?
All good here. Now, it seems that 70% of men don't receive compliments from male friends. Two-thirds of adults say they only receive compliments occasionally. And actually, we could be cheering each other up just by pointing out what is obvious to us that is a good thing about somebody.
You know what? It's so true. I've had so much fun working with M&S on this campaign. It's called the Love That campaign. It actually came about because they have a shopping channel and they noticed that one of the common things they would say to each other was like, "Oh, God, I love that," and kind of just the immediate sort of cognitive shift in the person that was getting that compliment. And compliments are actually psychologically and sociologically really, really important. They establish a sense of connectedness. They regulate attachment. They kind of light up our reward system. So it's that sense I feel valued. I'm seen. I'm part of the group. So this is kind of psychologically speaking quite a deep thing. And to your point, it's fascinating that some of us feel like we either find it difficult to give or even difficult to take compliments.
Yeah, because we often find ourselves with suspicion on why someone's saying something nice. Are they after something? They're buttering us up. Is there anything behind the reason they've asked? And equally, as you say, the flirtatious side of things, sometimes that can be fun, particularly if you know it's not a problem. But even then, it can push past someone's boundaries without you realizing it.
I think there's a difference between what's felt as a genuine compliment as well and what isn't felt as genuine. So again, if we look at the research in this area, when we feel that it's a genuine compliment, we immediately sort of like our defenses go down, that sort of lovely dopamine goes up, and also we tend to feel more attached. Now, the problem happens when we get the wrong kind of compliments. So, those of us that have kids, if you're like, "Oh my God, you're perfect, you're amazing, this drawing's great," kids will not appreciate that as much as like, "I love the way that you use two different kinds of blue to do this," because that means, it's something more specific. because don't forget, compliments also shape identity. They begin to make us feel like we see in ourselves perhaps what others see in us.
And when you're particularly talking to adults, complimenting them not on their appearance but on their personality traits is again something that will be appreciated, but also safer as well because it sounds a lot less sarcastic if you say someone's got a great sense of humour in the right way, rather than telling them their hair looks good, which they may already have some sort of insecurities about.
Maybe, but that's actually one of the things, interestingly, one of the things that we found with M&S research, that guys are a bit more reticent. And I wonder if that's kind of, that sort of male bias Jason coming out. Because I think as women, we're, much more comfortable to be like, I love the hair, I love the blouse. But I think part of the way guys connect is through banter. You guys almost do the opposite. So I'm going to say something funny and or maybe sort of, take a little jibe. And I think that's, again, a very cultural, very social thing. But I think one of the fascinating things, again, when you look at this area, is giving a compliment that you're not used to getting. Often, really, sort of, if you're used to kind of being complimented for your looks, being complimented for your intelligence, for example, or your sense of humor, or vice versa, that often can be really powerful as well.
And clothes, when someone compliments you on your outfit, it means you're more likely to wear it again.
Probably, absolutely, yeah. I think, we go through our days assuming how people see us, but there's nothing more lovely than being taken by surprise, someone noticing.
And it's the place that people are when they receive compliments as well that's quite intriguing because the ladies' room, it's a safe place for praise. The men's bathroom apparently did not feature highly. 3% of people said that was a place where they would anticipate getting a compliment.
Well, yeah, indeed, indeed. But again, I think there is sort of there are gender differences in what going to the bathroom means. You go for dinner, girls will often get up and go to the bathroom together, chat, do that. Guys will very rarely kind of get up from the dinner table and be like, "Hey, shall we go to the bathroom?" So I think it's situation specific based on what we associate with that.
So obviously, wonderful survey that are all around National Compliments Day, and the fact that hopefully we can put smiles on each other's faces during that one. Where can we go for more about the That's Love campaign from M&S, and of course get the right track when it comes to complimenting people?
If you go to M&S's YouTube channel, and the Love That shoppable channel, there's all this wonderful information there, and you'll be able to find that a lot more.
Well, as ever, Dr. Linda Papadopoulos, psychologist, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Now, with Six at Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre through to the 31st of January, there's a homecoming involved for the resident director, who's Fiona Winningham, with me now. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Good to see you again. Now, obviously, it's great to be out on the road with the likes of Six the Musical, a fantastic show, always a hugely talented cast, a powerful story, and powerful women playing powerful roles. It is phenomenal. But getting to be resident director as well, when you're from Wolverhampton, you've gone off, you've done your thing, and you are now really shining in the world of theatre.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and that was one of the major excitements for me going on tour, because I knew that I would get to come back to my hometown where I saw Six originally just before COVID. I think it was the last show that came to the Grand, maybe before
It was, I think,
we went
yeah.
into lockdown. Yeah, so it holds kind of a special place in my heart, because that allowed me to cling on to the idea of theatre through the time when theatre wasn't a thing, and now I've come back to it, and sort of my responsibility to keep it going through its tour this year.
Well, tell us a bit about what your job involves and how you got to it. Because I recall seeing you in top hat on stage at the Grand, and then from there you are university beckoned, and all sorts of things have gone on in your world.
Yeah, so I performed all through my young years in West Brom Youth Theatre, South Staffs, Bilston Operatic, West Brom Adults, all of the AMDRAMs, which sort of gave me my training that led me to sort of where I am now. I did a degree in drama at Exeter, and then I sort of fell into directing, basically, as something that I thought maybe I could try being on the other side of things, and then discovered that I loved that even more than being on stage. And then I did a master's in directing at Mount View in London, and then out of that, I was very lucky. I got a job as assistant director on a new musical at Charing Cross Theatre at the beginning of last year. I did that for about 4 months, which was amazing. And then I worked at the Finborough Theatre, and then from the back of that, I basically sent off my CV, kept my fingers crossed, and ended up with this job at Six, which is basically while we're on the road, I am responsible for making sure that if you went to see Six in the West End, Six on tour, Six in Japan, that every single version of the show is the best possible version, and that you're seeing a very quality controlled production basically across the board. And so it keeps basically I keep the standard up and make sure that everybody gets the best performance possible every night. That's basically my job.
And you're working with some huge talent there, which is absolutely fantastic. And it is though important that it is something which matches up. That you get to a venue. Now there are people who make sure that all the blocking and everything is sorted out for each venue, but you will have a role in that as well. I'm going to guess to make sure that each time the stage is slightly different, you're helping the talent accommodate it.
Absolutely. There's there's me, resident director. There's a lovely resident choreographer, Hayley, and an amazing resident MD, Rosie, and we work together as a team to make sure that everybody feels comfortable in every new venue. And every Tuesday we do a technical rehearsal, and so for every new venue we relight the show, we make sure the sound works, and that's basically what I was doing yesterday, busy making sure that it fit in Wolverhampton Grand as well as it did anywhere else.
This is part of the magic of theatre, and it's these jobs which are a part of that creative process that people don't see, but they do see because they see the right presentation on stage.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many people that are invisible on stage but are making the cogs turn, basically, from lighting and sound to when there's two confetti cannons fired at the end. Those are very much just two people with confetti cannons backstage doing that. So everything is, person based, and it's really valuable to have such an amazing team backstage who make that happen.
Yeah, and it is about right people, right place, right time, and being able to make it all work. And whilst there is automations in a lot of things, and it takes someone with huge skill to program the lighting desk and then run the sequences, it is still human fed, isn't it? You've got to move on to the next lighting sequence, which they spend hours getting right.
100%, and the ways people work with, I see head of lighting James on the lighting desk, and I couldn't even possibly imagine how he does it. It's absolutely amazing, and the whole design of the show, from the very original people who designed it and where it is now, it is an amazing show, and it is a spectacle, and it's really fabulous, and it's a gig type show, so the sound you get in that space is amazing. It sort of reverberates through you. It's a really great experience, especially in the Grand, because you get nice and intimate with the people on stage. So yeah, it's really great.
You get to see, hear, and feel the experience that is Six, the musical.
Exactly.
As it runs through to the 31st of January. How longer is left on the tour for you on this one?
Quite a while. We are, I think it's roughly we're on it till July, so they make that 7 months, I think, left. We've got a date. We've got a week in Amsterdam in March, which will be fun. We're sort of doing a couple of dates in the UK, popping to Amsterdam, and then we finish in Hull in May before going to Germany for 2 months, and we're doing 4 different venues in Germany. We're doing Frankfurt, Dusseldorf, Munich, and then ending with 2 weeks in Berlin at the end of July, which should be amazing. I've not been to Germany before, so I'm very excited to take the show over there.
And I think it's also interesting when you get English language shows touring all around the world like this. And again, you still got to make sure it's absolutely spot on in a completely different venue, and working with people for whom English isn't their first language very often as well.
Absolutely, and there was we just had Six in Japanese on the West End, and I saw a little bit of that, and that was absolutely amazing because the whole show was done in Japanese with subtitles, but the way in which they adapted and translated the language still made that storytelling really, really clear to anybody, basically, whether you spoke Japanese or didn't. So it's wild how it can translate to so many different people across the world. Basically, it's going to Australia as well soon, so it's really spreading far and wide, Six the Musical.
Well, Wolverhampton's own Fiona Winning is resident director on Six at the Grand. As we say, it runs through to the 31st of January. grandtheatre.co.uk or 01902 429212 is how you get your tickets. And pop along, see the show whilst you can, because I know it's selling exceptionally well. And you can see Fiona's work on stage.
Fabulous.
Lovely to see you. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to finding out about your next tour or the next big thing in the West End, whatever it is you're doing in the future. But I wish you every success.
Thank you so much, Jason.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me back with episode 867 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.